Oh, well, hey there guys. So glad you found your way back to this side of YouTube and to my channel. So happy to have you back here. So this video you're about to watch is a video that I filmed during spooky season in the fall, and as you can notice, it is not that season anymore, but I am playing catch up from my time when I was busy planning a wedding. So here is yet another video that I filmed months and months ago, and from here on out it will be new content, but this is the last one where I'm going to be playing catch up. After this I'm done. I hope you've been missing fall and spooky season because this will be a little time capsule back to that time. So please sit back and relax and enjoy your time while I take you on this journey. Hello everybody! You might have noticed that we are back home in Kentucky. I am so happy, and I'm also very happy that the weather is changing and that I can wear more cozy outfits and read some different kind of vibe books. Granted, I did read still a lot of fall type books in the summer because I love fall so much, but now it feels justified. Yeah, so in this vlog I was planning to start some spooky books. You may have seen that I already started the book House of Salt and Sorrows by... it's right here. Aaron A. Craig. It is pretty spooky, I would say. I am really enjoying it so far, actually, because I feel like this is just such a good... fantasy is such a good genre for spooky books because it's actually possible that, like, ghosts and supernatural things can happen. And I feel like too many times I've been disappointed by books that are set in our world where you think something supernatural is happening, but it turns out it isn't, and it's just like a serial killer or something, and it's not a ghost. So I kind of like that a little bit better in the fantasy genre, so I definitely am enjoying it. So basically this story is about this family in this fantasy world that lives on an island, and they have 12 daughters. So that's a lot of daughters, but the daughters one by one start dying, and the fourth daughter that the fourth daughter that died seems like she was murdered. No one except for the main character, which is one of the sisters, believes that she was actually murdered, and so she's kind of like trying to figure out what actually happened to her, because everyone thinks that it was an accident because she fell off a cliff, but this daughter isn't so sure. She's like, no, I think she was pushed. I think someone maliciously killed her. It is very cool. I really like it so far. It's very haunting, and like everyone thinks that this family is cursed now because all of the daughters are starting to die. So the mood and the atmosphere is very kind of gothic, but like gothic on an island, like on a bay, you know? So I'm just picturing like a lot of fog because it's right by the ocean, so it's just a really cool feeling, and I feel like it very much suits this season, the spooky season. I highly recommend. So far I'm halfway through, just about, and so far I would definitely highly recommend it for this season if you want something a little bit spookier and with fantasy elements, because I know that a lot of people like to pick up fantasy in the fall, and I definitely would recommend this. And it's pretty low fantasy as well. It's not very difficult to understand what's going on in the world. It's more so about this family and this girl trying to figure out what the heck is happening with their family curse. Everyone thinks it's a curse, but like, is it? You know, it's very, yeah, we don't know, but I really like it. So for this week I'm going to be reading some spooky books, and I'm going to be taking you guys along with me. I think that the books that I am wanting to get to, one I don't own physically. I kind of want to read Alice by Christina Henry, and then the other book that I kind of wanted to get to is Pet Sematary by Stephen King. I never finished this. I like started it like last year and never finished it because I started it for a challenge, I believe, and then the challenge was almost over anyway, and I didn't want to start and then stop it. I wanted to fully, like, you know, immerse myself and really get into it because I've heard a lot of great things about this. Great meaning like you will probably be scarred and come out of it a different person. So I am looking forward to that. I don't know what that means. So it's gonna be interesting. But those are the kind of tentative TBR that I'm thinking about reading for this video, so I hope you guys enjoy. I'm going to continue on House of Salt and Sorrow, and I'll keep on telling you guys what I think of it. Hey guys, it is quite a bit later now. Obvs. I have made a lot of progress in this book. I am now over halfway through, probably almost like 3/4. So I'm definitely on track to finish this tomorrow. I started it yesterday, read a big chunk today, and I'm probably gonna finish it tomorrow. That's pretty exciting. Almost done with our first book of the video, and I am really enjoying it. Like, I would highly recommend for a spooky season. I've talked about this before in my other videos, but I feel like I have a very specific kind of creepy that I like, or more like I have this like big range of creepy that I don't like. And if it's not in that, then I usually enjoy it, because I feel like a lot of creepy stuff, like spooky stuff, just has an amazing atmosphere and really good storytelling. And I feel like the authors that can make a good spooky story are just really good at transporting you. And so that's the reason that I like stories like that, but there is a big range of those stories that are just too disturbing for me to enjoy. Yes, it's good writing. Yes, it transports me. Yes, it's a good story, but it's just too disturbing. And I think that part of the reason why I'm liking this is that it's in a fantasy world. I think if this wasn't in a fantasy world, I would be too disturbed by it. Because there's so much death and like ghostly, kind of like spiritual stuff going on. And if that was in our world, that would definitely like be too disturbing for me. But since it's in a fantasy world, it just makes sense to have that, because there's already magic in this world, so it just makes sense. It's just creepy magic. So yeah, I'm just really liking it. It's very much like fulfilling the fall, kind of spookier side of fall hankering that I had. I wanted to find a book like this, and I have found it. I am very happy to say. I just love like the haunted house type of vibe that it's going for. So I'm, yeah, really enjoying it. I also really love the kind of like seaside vibe that it has as well, because I don't often see this. Usually seaside stuff is a lot more summery and like beachy, but this is more like rocky shores and barnacles and fog and salt and things like that that make it a lot more of kind of a creepy like house on a hill with waves crashing on it kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? Love it, really enjoying it. There's a lot about it that I love, so I will definitely still keep you guys updated. I also really like that there's so many different like sisters, like so many different personalities represented in the sisters, and that's pretty cool. I enjoy that. I also enjoy that as a person that is in a family with a lot of sisters, so all this sisterhood stuff is very relatable to me. Speaking of which, I might show you this tomorrow, but me and my sisters are kind of planning on doing a little bit of a Harry Potter party. We kind of want to like do a drawn out Harry Potter party where we watch like one movie each time, like throughout a couple weeks, and each time make some kind of snack that's like fallish or Harry Potter-ish. Like we got supplies for butterbeer and chocolate frogs and stuff like that. It's gonna be so fun. So I'll probably take a lot of videos and I can show you guys and talk about what we do. But yeah, that's gonna be pretty fun, speaking of sisterhood. But yeah, it is night now and I'm getting pretty sleepy, so I'm probably gonna just read this until I fall asleep and then finish it up tomorrow and tell you guys what I think. Alrighty, hello again guys. So today I finished House of Salt and Sorrows, and honestly like it's so good that I'm thinking of giving it like a 4.5. It was that good. That ending sequence was pretty stellar in my opinion. I was so on the edge of my seat, like quite literally I had to sit up. My eyes could not move fast enough on the page kind of feeling. That, you know that feeling? It's a great feeling, isn't it? So yeah, I definitely want to give that extra points for that. It is probably not a 5-star because I didn't get the feeling that I want to put that in the 5-star category, because those books are just very revered, you know, but it was really good. I'm surprised at how low it's rated on Goodreads. Like, do people just not realize that it's a scary book when they sign up for it? I don't know, but I feel like as far as scary books go, that was like pretty good. It was very adequately scary. Like, there were times where I was like like actually scared and like spooked out. I was like, I could not read this in a dark room or anything. So I definitely highly recommend if you are good with slightly, you know, scarier content. I feel like for me, I said this earlier, but it just wasn't like disturbing. There's a fine line between scary and disturbing, and I think that just part of what made it not disturbing was the fact that it's fantasy and it's not in our real world with like real demonic things happening or something like that. Like that is just disturbing. Like that's just scary because I feel like that could actually happen. But if it's in a fantasy world, it doesn't feel like it could actually happen, and so I can just enjoy like the spookiness of it without feeling like I'm inviting something into my home or something like that. I don't know, but that's just kind of how I feel. If you can't tell, I'm pretty tired. So I'm gonna go to bed after this, but I did finish this book, and if I had energy tonight, I would start Alice by Christina Henry because I got that on my e-reader. I did pirate it because I'm planning on buying it tomorrow because I'm going to Barnes & Noble tomorrow. I don't know, we'll see if I can read it in one day. It is rather short. That'd be nice if I could read it in one day. I have a few plans tomorrow though, so I'm not like super confident that I will. But we shall see. We shall see. I will keep you updated on it. I did read the prologue, I believe, of that book like a couple years ago just because I was curious, and it does seem like the vibes. It was like in an insane asylum or like a prison or something like that, but she was like insane and being detained in the prison. I don't know, like there was elements of insanity in this book as well, House of Salt and Sorrows, and I just feel like that's just so suitable for spookiness. You know, just like what is real? Am I imagining this? And like that question is so good for it, just like really compels me. I'm just like like it makes me want to keep on reading. It makes me want to keep on, like I need to know if this is real or not. That's what I liked about this book, and hopefully that will be another thing about this Alice book, because Alice in Wonderland, of course, there's like insanity and just like drug trippy kind of like really trippy imagery is just part of the deal. So it's bound to be spooky. So I will let you guys know just how spooky and what I think of the overall story tomorrow. Alrighty, hey, good morning guys. We're gonna go to Barnes & Noble this morning, so I'm gonna see if they have Alice. I feel like Alice is kind of in the middle of popular and not popular, and I just like don't usually see it at Barnes & Noble. I've seen it a couple times, and so I'm just kind of hoping that this is one of the times it'll be there. But I woke up kind of early this morning because of jet lag, so I started it. I read like the first 2 or 3 chapters, and I'm liking it so far. Like I said, it starts off in an insane asylum, and then we're following Alice and her next door cellmate because they kind of have befriended each other, and he's like an insane guy that has murdered people with his axe, so they call him Hatcher. So that's fun. But then the insane asylum catches fire, and her and Hatcher escape, and now they're like on the run in what I assume is like industrial era London is what I'm picturing. I'm not exactly certain if this is London or not. I'm just kind of picturing it like that because part of the reason I wanted to read this was because of how much I really like the vibe and the aesthetic of that video game Alice the Madness Returns. If you haven't seen that, the aesthetic is very cool and also follows like 2 different worlds where Alice is in Wonderland, and then when she's in the real world, she's in like industrial era London. And so I'm just like picturing that. The gross factories and the smog and the poor people and the coal dust and just like things like that that are permeating the city is what I'm picturing. And I like that, and I feel like that's a good setting for kind of like a psychological thriller, or not, I guess not thriller. Is it more horror? I suppose. Like a spooky book. I don't know. And I'm interested to see like where Wonderland is going to come into that, because as far as I know, this is a retelling, so it's not like Alice has been to Wonderland before or has experienced that before. I'm pretty sure she will experience it, so I will let you guys know. I will let you guys know what I think of all this. I'm liking it so far. That's all you gotta know for now. Yeah, I'm gonna go to Barnes & Noble. Hopefully they have it physically, because I've discovered that I have just a wider attention span for reading physical books. I don't know what it is, but if I'm reading on my e-reader, I like get distracted more easily. Probably because it's a screen or some stupid reason like that. But let's go. I'm just gonna talk around my cat here. Okay, just got back from Barnes & Noble, and I got some really fun fall books that were all on my fall TBR. If you want to watch that video, then you can go ahead and watch that. Yeah. Is that right? But I'm so happy that I found a copy of Alice. There was only one, and it was all nestled in the back corner close to the floor, so I'm really glad that I eventually found it. I'm about halfway through. It is 291 pages, so it's definitely like doable to read it in one day. I just don't know if I will make it. But I'm gonna try my darndest for sure. I am almost halfway through. I'm on page 135, so I'm around there. So I'm just gonna keep on reading while my cat snuggles with me, which is just so fun. Well, so far, I'm really liking it. It is a slightly different vibe than I was thinking, but I really like it. Like I said, it is kind of in this London-esque setting. It's not London because it's like a made-up world. And there is magic, which is really cool. I wasn't sure if there would be magic or if it would just be like all in your head kind of magic, you know? But it seems really cool. Like there's like a quest kind of thing going on. I'll just let you look at him because he's too cute to not look at. So there's kind of a quest type of thing going on, which I also wasn't expecting, and Alice and this guy Hatcher are kind of working together to defeat this thing, but they're both kind of less than sane people encountering less than sane characters along the way, and so it is very like still spooky. There's violence and things like that, so it definitely feels very suitable for the theme of this video. And I'm seeing like the inspiration from the original story, Alice in Wonderland, and I'm really liking that. I've actually never read it all the way through. My dad read it to us a little bit when we were younger, but we didn't read it all the way through. And then of course there's a Disney movie, and then there's that video game that I mentioned, so I have like some knowledge of the story, and it seems like there is a lot of inspiration, especially when it comes to the different characters that they encounter along the way. It seems like they're very similar to characters that Alice encounters in Wonderland in the original story. But I'm just gonna keep on going because I'm really enjoying it. Like I said, it is just so much easier for me to dive into a story and keep on reading consecutively when I'm holding it in my hands and it's not on a screen. I don't know why. I don't know why that is, but that's something that I have discovered about myself, and so it's just a lot easier for me to binge this, especially seeing as it's a short book. So we're gonna try and get as close as we can to the finish today. Like I said, I do have plans later on, so I'm gonna try to utilize this time that I have. I will go ahead and check back in with you, and I'll tell you what I'm thinking. Alright, hey, good morning, guys. Last night when I got back from my thingy, I was much too tired to read, but I got up this morning and finished the book, so here are my thoughts on it. It's kind of hard to say because my positive feelings do outweigh my negative feelings about it, so that means it's at least like a 3.5, but I feel like it just was too light-handed for an Alice in Wonderland retelling. I don't know. Every vibe that I was getting from this, all of the little reviews on it and things like that were making me think that it would be a lot more psychological and trippy, and I feel like it was just very like light on that side of it. Like I was definitely expecting more of just a lot of weird things happening. I mean, just think of the original Alice in Wonderland. Like it's just so outrageous and out there and bizarre, and I was really expecting that kind of feel from this, and I just feel like it wasn't insane enough, you know? It's supposed to be like kind of insane, kind of mad, and I feel like it didn't really deliver on that front. It was too tame, I think. It definitely wasn't tame when it came to the violence and the graphicness and stuff, because there was a lot of Alice and Hatcher being in the bowels and in like the, I think of in Six of Crows, like the barrel, like being in just the bad part of the city where it's run by gang members and stuff like that. Like there's a bunch of like gang bosses that they come across, and I feel like the only thing that made me think of Alice in Wonderland was that these gang bosses were named after Alice in Wonderland characters, and I'm just like, that does not make it a remake, you know? It doesn't feel enough like the original, maybe? I don't know. Like, is that a fair judgment? Like, is that a fair criticism? Because it just didn't make me feel, it didn't give me the same feelings as Alice in Wonderland. It didn't seem like a retelling. I don't know how to describe that. It's just like the only thing that made it like Alice in Wonderland was that the characters were named after characters from the original. And I'm just like, does that make it a remake? Is that enough to make it a remake or what? So yeah, I don't know. I did enjoy it. So it is at least a 3.5. And it's definitely spooky and a little bit crazy, but not Alice in Wonderland level of crazy. Like I wouldn't equate the two at all. Yeah, I feel like in order to be associated with Alice in Wonderland, you definitely need to lean more into the bizarreness. And I feel like the author was just too shy with it. I was like, don't be shy. You need to lean into the insanity a little bit more. I feel like I could have forgotten about the insanity part of this book. Like it just wasn't enough. So that's kind of what I'm thinking about that. Slight disappointment there, even though I did enjoy my journey in this world. And there are 2 other books in the series, so I can look at those and see if they kind of go up to par with the Alice in Wonderland madness or if it's kind of just the same thing. So yeah, there's that. So now I'm probably going to start off Pet Sematary by Stephen King. I will see if I can finish this. I don't usually have a whole lot of time in the weekends. House of Salt and Sorrows was just such a fast read that I got through that super quickly, even though it was 400 pages long. And this is about the same length, so if it takes me 3 days, then it will take me until the first day of next week, which is fine, like, whatever. It's not a reading challenge or anything, I just want to get it done quick. So I will try my best to read this a lot, read as much as I can. My sisters and I are planning to watch the second Harry Potter movie this afternoon, so it's gonna be fun again. But other than that, I don't believe I have any more plans today, so hopefully I can read a bunch of this, but I will let you guys know once I get some decent chunk in this. The words are pretty small, so I'm hoping it won't be too difficult to get through it. I've just seen a lot of people, like, after finishing this book, just like contemplating life, and so I'm really wondering what is in this to give them that emotion, give them that reaction. So yeah, I'm excited. I am tentative, I am nervous, I am kind of scared because I've never read Stephen King before, and he's just, you know, he's just a little bit scary, like a little bit intimidating. So I'm hoping it's not too disturbing, but we shall see. I will go ahead and say if it does cross a line for me, I will not keep on reading it. But if it doesn't like cross this line that I have mentally and emotionally, then I will keep on. I'll continue to read it. But yeah, I'll let you guys know what I think. Alrighty, so my camera died and I just realized that the one thing that I forgot in Korea was my extra battery and the battery charger. So I ordered one on Amazon, don't you fret, it's gonna come in a little bit, but for now, let's just use my phone, it's fine. So I am a little bit over halfway through Pet Sematary, and it is very interesting so far. It definitely strikes me a little more as like a literary fiction with creepy stuff happening, you know? It seems like it is very character focused and goes into a lot of themes of death and things like that. Not that horrors can't do that, but it's just interesting how much attention is focused on the characters and then just living life. So it does, in that respect, it kind of reminds me of just a literary fiction following these characters with like kind of supernatural creepy things happening, you know? And the things that have happened so far have been really interesting, thought-provoking. Yeah, that's the thing that I have heard about this book, is that it just makes you contemplate life when you finish it. So I am ready to experience that feeling. I'm gonna try to read as much as possible today. We'll see how much, because I usually hang out with my friends and family today, but in the quiet moments, in the lonely moments, I'll break this out and keep on reading. But basically, if you want to know kind of the beginning, the plot summary, just a little bit, is this family is moving from Chicago to Maine. They're kind of like in a rural-ish area, and out back they have a pet cemetery that folks in that area have been using for like decades. And so there's like tombstones that have been left there since like the 30s. So it's been around for quite a while. The neighborhood kids have been using it to bury their pets in that cemetery for a long time. And it turns out that there is more going on in that pet cemetery than meets the eye. And something maybe supernatural, something spooky, something creepy is going on there. It has also made these characters kind of contemplate death a little bit, especially their little girl. They have a little girl, and when she saw the pet cemetery, it made her consider death more, because they have a pet, and so they're like, oh, what? She's very confused about the concept of death, like where do people go after they die, just things like that. So it's interesting to see a child coming to terms with the concept of death, and death keeps on happening, and we keep on exploring it and all that stuff. So that definitely makes it very interesting, very thought-provoking, very like, yeah, death really isn't great, is it? And I can definitely understand, like, I can kind of guess what Stephen King was going through while writing this. Not necessarily like going through, just what he's contemplating. It's interesting to see like what he's contemplating personally and putting it into a story, making a whole story out of it. I can kind of guess that's where that came from, but that's just a guess. And he keeps on like foreshadowing things that make me concerned. When authors do this, it stresses me out, and it's also kind of cool, at least, you know, to know a little bit of what might be coming in the future. But he'll say things like, and that was the last time they ever saw this person, or, and little did they know that 2 months from now this would happen, like things like that, you know? I'm like, oh my gosh, this is concerning. But I just reached part 2, so that is a little over halfway through the book, and I think there's 3 parts, so I'm gonna probably at least try to read this second part before the day is over, hopefully more than than that, but you know, like I said, I might be a little bit busy today. I know that my boyfriend is taking me on a date later, so yep, I'm gonna be doing stuff. I'm gonna be chilling, I'm gonna be reading, and I'll let you guys know when I have more thoughts to say.
3 hours later.
Okay, so I just had one of the most insane days of my life for a very particular reason. Oh my gosh. Yeah, guys, I got proposed to today. My boyfriend proposed to me on that date that I told you all about. I had no idea. I had literally no idea, and I was shocked out of my mind. And then the rest of my day was very much compromised, and I was very okay with that. But it also meant that I didn't get a lot of reading done. I'm gonna read while I get sleepy before I go to sleep. But I will check back in with you guys. I checked, and it seems like the second part is very long, and then the third part is very short. So I will check back into you guys maybe when I finish the second part and I'm almost done with the book. But yeah. I'm so reeling. I am so reeling. Yep, that was one of the most insane days of my life, that's for sure. I'm glad I was vlogging while doing that so I can tell you guys about the new ring I just got and the fiance. I'm still getting used to saying that. Yes, I'm very happy. I'm very happy. I'll catch you guys later. So there you have it, guys. That was the time capsule back to the fall. I never got to wrap up what I thought about Pet Sematary, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that right now. So this one was really interesting. It's my first Stephen King book, and I must say, I wish I was a little more prepared coming into this because I think my expectations were off. So if you want to read this book, let me go ahead and make those accurate for y'all. So if you're looking for creepy stuff and you were like, you heard about how creepy Pet Sematary is and like all that stuff, and that's the part that you're looking forward to, because that's kind of what happened with me. Just so you know, this is how much creepy stuff is in this. So these are the last like 40 or so pages of the book, and this is kind of the only part that is really like horror-ish. The rest of it is basically just like a literary fiction, like I said before, where there's a lot of explorations of death and some mysterious and off-putting things happening. I wouldn't say the rest of it is very horror. So I just want to make those expectations clear for you because I think I was just misled coming into this. I even read a part, I think it's in this book, there's some kind of foreword or something like that, talking about how Stephen King, this was his one book where he really sat back and said, what have I created? Like, this is a monstrosity that I've created or something like that. And so I was really expecting something more coming into this. I thought the whole thing was like a horror book, just like It or something like that. And so I'm just going to adjust y'all's expectations here. Don't expect to go into this like the whole thing is super spooky and you won't be able to sleep at night and like all these things. That only comes in the last 40 pages. So just so you know. So I think for me that kind of messed with my reading experience. I think I was expecting it to be a lot more interesting than that. And for me, I'm not someone that loves literary fiction super much. I like my books to have a little more plot and a little more fast-pacedness about it because I have a hard time with my attention span, and so I just like for things to be faster paced. So this one was a bit hard for me to get through, but I still thought it was really good and super well written. I mean, of course, it's Stephen King. So it's extremely compelling and extremely interesting when it comes to the themes of death and sickness and dying young and things like that. All those are explored in this book. Those are the reasons why it kind of strikes me as more of a literary fiction where they're just exploring a bunch of complex topics that need a whole book's worth to like really flesh out, and the horror stuff only comes at the very end. So that is just something to be aware of. So anyways, I really liked this book, and I would say maybe I liked House of Salt and Sorrows a little bit more. I think that book was just really good. I read it so long ago and I still remember like it was so good. I really loved it. I think it's perfect for spooky season. I know it's not spooky season anymore, but you should definitely put it on your TBR for next year, for next time that season comes swinging around. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, this little time capsule back into the spooky season. I hope you missed it because that's kind of what this video is for at this point. And I hope you're really excited to see my new content because it's going to be really fun and really special. And I will be seeing you guys next time. Bye y'all!